All right, so let's take a look at our viewer mailbag here. And we got a question from Tim about sniffing out spam. And John, maybe you can walk us through this.
Yeah, so one of our viewers wrote in with an interesting question, so I thought it'd be worthwhile to kind of talk about it, briefly. He says, when viewing potential spam, the new Yahoo Mail does not appear to allow us to hover over the email and see where it is coming from. Any suggestions? So Yahoo Mail, actually, they did do an upgrade to their interface. I want to say somewhere at the beginning of this year or something like that. I can't remember the exact time frame when. And they went from their old interface, which I actually liked quite a bit, to this newer interface. It's a little sleeker, but a little less graphically intensive too, I think. In any event, so there's a couple of things about this question. I wasn't quite sure which angle to take, so I took both angles here. So one of the first things is I just brought up one of the emails I had in my inbox with an Amazon coupons. I wasn't quite sure if this is a legitimate email or not from Amazon. So the first option here is you could just right-click on the user's name in the listing there and then do a view full header. And when you click on that, it'll bring up a larger picture with the full headers of the email. This is a little bit probably more intensive than what you're actually looking for. Somewhere in there, down in the list, there will be a line that indicates who it's from, their name and whatnot there with the full email address. Probably more what Tim's question really was is just when you hover over it, can I see who that is, his email address, as opposed to the short name of just Amazon coupons. What you can do before my next option, which kind of addresses this, is if you do open the email, and this is kind of good practice, I also should mention to Tim, good point for at least being wary of your email, so it's a good question to begin with. But there's a couple of things I wanted to point out here on an email that you look at. And the first thing is once you do open the email up in Yahoo, it will, you can mouse over the username there, Amazon coupons, and it will show it. So that's the bullet one that I have there. The other thing, number 2 that I show is don't click on the show images button. So if there are images attached in this spam and you're not sure about it yet, don't load the images. Frequently we've seen there's a lot of these emails that will arrive that have kind of a custom image with a URL that has an identifier in it, such that if you actually load that image, it goes to the web server, somewhere remotely, and fetches it, sending that user ID. So now they know that this is a live email address, that you actually exist. They'll continue to send you spam. And then the third option, or the third thing to make note of here is when you're in the email, if you hover over a link, at the bottom left, usually, IE might be a little different, it will show you the URL, and I have an example of that there on number 3. So you can kind of see, does this look right? And in this case, it does not look right. It does not look like Amazon when you mouse over that. I'll also note that Yahoo actually has a nice security feature in their spam folder. So if you do the same thing and open an email in the spam folder, none of the links will be active. So that's a good thing that they do automatically. They just assume you're not going to want to click on any of the links that are in this email.
Right.
But if it's in your regular folder, hovering over the link or the URL in the email will show you what it is.
Does Yahoo has that feature? In
Yahoo
mail,
has that.
mail?
Yeah,
okay.
in their mail, their web mail client here. So go to the next slide, and this actually kind of shows you how to get more to the root of the matter. So when you're on the main interface, when you hover over it, the person's email name, it won't show you their actual email address. What you can do is, and I think this was a default option in the new version of the Yahoo webmail interface, is to enable conversations. And what that does is it kind of stacks all the emails together in a particular conversation, so you can view it as one big long thread. If you disable that, so if you go to the settings option from the gear, you click on the gear, you go to settings, you disable the enable conversations, then back in the main user interface, if you hover over Amazon coupons, it will show you there that it's Amazon coupons at, I can't even read that last, awhdeck.com, which obviously doesn't sound quite legit. And I took a look. The reality of this is it's not malware, but it is probably just spam that you really don't want to get involved with. There's another option too that you can do. Instead of disabling the conversations mode, in the settings, you could also go back to the basic interface, which is a lot more like the older one was, but even more slimmed down. And that will turn back on that hover over option on the email name to get you the email address, just like we showed on the previous screen.
All right, good deal.
And there's one other thing I wanted to show real quick. And this is kind of an added bonus, because one of the things I do like about Yahoo's service in general is that if you go to your settings, you click on the gear, you go to account info, it will bring up a page that lists some settings that you can check on your account. One of them that's really useful if you think your account's been compromised, and we've come across cases of this during investigations, where your email account, your password to your Yahoo or whatever has gotten stolen or harvested via some malware, and now some actor in wherever, some remote part of the world, is logging into your email account and sending email as though it's coming from you, probably to people that are on your address book or whatnot. So what you can do is you can actually go to the, boy, I can't read that. Check your...
view recent sign-in activity.
View recent sign-in activity. And when you click on that option, it'll give you a list of the recent sign-in activity and where it came from generally. It doesn't give you the IP address, but it gives you the part of the world. So, all of mine shows New Jersey, US, or New York, US, which happens to be where we're located. So I'm not worried here. But if your account was compromised, sometimes we'll see things like Bosnia or something, or some Eastern European country or something logging into your Yahoo Mail account. So that's just another extra kind of thing to check for, or that you might want to go take a look at.
I think the Dilbert name for it is Albonia.
Albonia, yeah. And there's a couple other options in there too that you can look at when you have time, but there's some things about timing out your cookie more regularly, because actually Yahoo by default gives you like a 4-week cookie, so it'll stay active if you leave your browser up, or if someone harvests your cookie, it stays usable. We know that there's some cases where cookie harvesting has occurred too, and then somebody kind of jumps into your session using your cookie that you have with Yahoo.
Yeah, so this is a case where somebody, they're able to get access to your machine through malware or something, steal, or maybe even grab it off, if somehow be able to get it through a Wi-Fi connection or something like that. They're able to steal your cookie and then basically use that for accessing the website.
Right, and we've seen cross-site scripting as a real big cookie harvester type thing. In any event, just some other little added things to go check with your Yahoo Mail. Hopefully that answers the question.
All right, yeah, I hope so. And if you have any follow-up questions, Tim, or anybody for that matter, if you have any follow-up questions, let us know. You can reach us at ThreatTraq@list.att.com.